Good morning, everybody. This is Terry with Gateway to Counseling. This looks a little fuzzy, guys. I don't know if that's my vision or this thing, but I'm back in my office today. Yay! We just completely redid my office, and so now I'm settled back home. So I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me. The Ask Terry Show. You guys can email, text message me here on Facebook with any questions that you may have. I will not use your name, but we want to be able to answer your questions of anything that you have regarding mental health. Today is a very interesting question. We have, why am I so angry all the time? Good morning, Sandy. So why am I so angry all the time? I don't know. I don't know your life and I don't know your history, but I would suspect that you're angry all the time, not because of things occurring today, but because of things that have happened in the past. So let me give you an example. I'll give you a couple of examples, right? Because I work with a lot of angry people. We have people who are angry because maybe they're bipolar. I'm suspecting that maybe you're not bipolar. But I suspect that you're just feeling angry all the time, not that you're maybe lashing out and violent or anything like that. I hope not. If you are, of course, come to us for some help. But generally, when someone says to me that they're angry all the time, it's because they're having these different feelings about something that might have happened in the past. So, a client that I'm currently working with says that she's angry and depressed a lot. And she knows that it has to do with her upbringing, right? This is a person who mother was on drugs and they lived in Miami and they were frequently on the streets. And not only were they on the streets, but they slept on sidewalks. And she's told me stories whereby she was scared in the middle of the night. Of course, she's a little girl at the time. She didn't know if someone was going to try to hurt them, take their belongings. She didn't know what to expect. I mean, this is a little girl living on the streets, sleeping in front of stores. And all of this was because her mother was on drugs. And she knew that. She knew that they were moving from place to place and being homeless because of her mother's drug use. And I think, guys, you can understand if your parents or your significant others or someone you love goes through something for a period of time, right? Maybe they lost their job. And because they lost their job, they're sitting at home. There's nothing for them to do. They start to get really angry. They start to drink all the time. And before you know it, they're being, verbally abusive towards you, maybe physically abusive towards you. You can kind of understand that, right? And you hope that they will get the help that they need and overcome it, right? But sometimes our anger continues 10 years later because that person still is the same way and you still love them, right? So in the example that I was giving earlier, this person's mother, even though this person is now an adult, this person's mother is still hooked on drugs. And not only are they still hooked on drugs, but they still live in this other city of Miami. They're still homeless at times. They're still on the streets at times. And there are times that this person can't even find their mother. Well, guys, I have not been through that. And I can tell you that if I had to go through something like that, I think I would be pretty angry too. Because there are times that we want our moms in our lives, right? And this mother can't be accessible because of her drug use, because of a lifestyle that she has chosen. This mother has chosen to be more connected to her drugs and her street life than to her children, her grandchildren, right? And at some point that has to be pretty frustrating and pretty angry. But even though I understand that, and even though I know that I would probably feel that way, I have to believe that I would be able to overcome it. And so the issue is not just that you're angry all the time. There's a reason why you're angry. And you have every reason to be angry, right? For whatever the situation may be. Whether it's your spouse cheating on you, it's your family, disowning you, whatever the situation may be, I'm sure you have a very valid reason to be angry. But we're here to help you to overcome those negative feelings, right? Because when we walk around with anger like that, we're actually walking around with like bags and sacks of potatoes and rice and, and it's weighing us down. Imagine picking up a 25 bag of whatever, 25 pound bag of whatever, and you're carrying that around, right? Well, it's going to weigh you down, and that's not what we want. You can't control what other people do in their lives. You couldn't control it when you were a child, and you can't even control it when you're an adult. You only can control you. So, in order to help you overcome that anger, I'm going to ask you to, first of all, step back. Understand where the anger is coming from. Then once you have that understanding of where it's coming from, then let's focus on that issue. If the anger is about a brother who sexually abused you when you were a little girl, and now he's out there and he's having a fun time and he's enjoying his family, and you guys go to family events together, and he's gone on with his life, and you're still looking at him from across the room, angry because he sexually abused you and no one knows. If that is your situation, then let's just overcome that anger and overcome that abuse. Because it happened when you were a child and he has gone on, and now I want you to go on. Yes, he was wrong. And if you think he might be doing something like that to someone else, then we need to make people aware of it, right? We need to maybe tell your story, not to hurt him. No, we're not doing revenge, but we are making people aware that you're watching him and how he interacts with someone else. And so you might want to make that parent or person aware, right? But we have to maybe understand that he was 13 years old at the time. You were 10. He did that. It stopped. He went on to develop relationships with girls that were appropriate. He's never done anything like that again that you're aware of. He's gone on to have a happy life. Well, I know from working with both victims and perpetrators that sometimes teenagers do perpetrate on someone in their family because they have the opportunity, right? So we want to understand what has gone on. And guys, I hate to say this, but this is a therapy show, right? This is about mental health. And if you're holding on to that kind of anger from something that happened in the past, I do think you need mental health. I think you do need our assistance to dig through the layers and understand everything and then be able to resolve it. I don't know if you can do it on your own. I know that you're brave, and I know that you're strong, and I know that you've done a lot in your life, but I don't know if you can overcome the trauma from the past on your own. And as I'm talking, everything I'm talking about is trauma. Being homeless as a child, mom being on drugs, mom continuing to be on drugs, your brother sexually abusing you. All these things are trauma from the past that are going to cause you to be angry now. And what's going to happen is that you're taking your anger out probably on people around you. maybe your spouse, maybe your children, maybe your friends, maybe your coworkers. I remember working in a mental health office one time, and our secretary apparently was having a really, really bad day. It was early in the morning, and maybe she had had an argument with her husband or something like that. And anyone who called, she lashed out on them. What do you want? It was like I walked by her desk and kind of ran. Because she was like angry, right? And this was too early in the morning that anyone at the office had done anything to her. So I'm assuming something happened at home, but she was literally answering the phones with this harsh, angry tone, taking it out on everyone who called our office. Thank heaven she was a friend of mine. So I waited a little bit, and then I went to her and I said, "Hey, do you need to talk a little bit?" Because we're getting this feedback that, you've been kind of harsh on the phone with people. But guys, when we're angry, that happens sometimes, doesn't it? Here's another thing. When we're working on anger, we want to work on forgiveness. We want to forgive the person who has wronged us. We want to find healthy ways to release that anger when it comes up, because it is going to come up and it is going to stay with us for probably 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so if you can get by those 20 to 30 minutes, then I want you to go and do something. Exercise, go outside and yell, punch a punching bag, go running, go walking, do some jumping jacks in your bedroom. Do something to release the anger. If you are, I have a client who loves to write music. And so she gets all of the anger out in music. We have people who love to draw, and they're wonderful artists, and they release their anger through their artwork or through their drawings or I have little kids who release their anger through coloring, right? So I want you to be able to release that anger out of you. And then I want you to do something else. I want you to read the book by David Hawkins called Letting Go. I love that book. I haven't talked about it in a while. You can get it on Amazon. It was a yellow and white book, but it's David Hawkins. He's a PhD, and it's letting go. And he talks about how to let go of negative feelings. I said earlier, I don't know if you can overcome these negative feelings on your own. But I think if you read the book Letting Go by David Hawkins, or if you read A Course in Miracles, I do believe that it is possible. I do. So you might not need us. But if you do, guys, we're just a click away, right? We are your objective friend. We're bringing peace, joy, love, and light into the lives of millions. And thank you guys so much. Thank you for all of your support. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday at 8:15, okay? Bye-bye.